Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Talina Adamo and this is part 2 of the Multidimensional Creator Planner Premium Edition walkthrough. I had just printed out a brand new premium cover page and I have removed the standard one for this video because I'm so excited. So I'm just going to go over the next section. The first section we covered was annual planning, and those pages that have been included in the annual beginning of the planner are now moving into the creative expansion for the projects that you're going to be working on. So let me skip through the video to that page and we'll continue from here. Okay guys, so long story short, I did not record enough of the creative universe tree and the next sections of the planner. So I'm in my car now. Sorry for the less fancy background, and don't mind the car's mess if you see any. I just wanted to go over the next section, which is the creative expansion. And this particular page goes alongside this other page here. The creative expansion page is the brainstorming and ideas page that goes along with this creative universe tree, which is basically a map of your core goal and project that you're working on. So in this case, in my case, I'm using a Happy Planner disc punch system for the planner, and I would just either rotate it sideways and work on it from here, or I would pull the page out and adjust it to where it's easy for me to write. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to turn it sideways in the car and show you that just like a tree, like in a family lineage tree, an ancestry tree, I have the project name at the top. So like, your maiden name, for example. All right. So in this case, I created something called Project Nexus, which is basically my overall bird's eye universal view of what I'm trying to do. And you don't have to do this, but I went ahead and did this just to break down visually and mentally what I'm doing and to give you guys an idea of how I am a multidimensional thinker and what I'm actually working on. So you can kind of be in the know of what I'm doing and how I'm using this planner. So on the top, I created the name called Project Nexus, which is basically like a cool name for my overall life goals, where I'm combining my filmmaking, which is Black Onyx Productions, my authoring or books, which is Tritail Publishing, and the new thing that is in my life is called Lyrithium Studios, which is an extension of one of the characters in my novel series, The Willow Sisters, that has become more than just that. The word Lyrithium is sort of like an extension of the lyra, which is a musical instrument that I decided to use as a name for my music outlet, which I'm now doing and playing with for fun using Suno to make AI music. And the main reason I'm doing that, I'll go into in other videos, is to create music that I can listen to while I'm writing. And why not use that music as inspiration for a soundtrack for the movie or whatever promo videos I might use, other than just, self listening to while I'm writing music. I could actually use that and sell that music if it does well. And yeah, that was just some creative idea I came up with. So the next thing I have on here is Talina Marie Creations, which is my art side. That is where I am using my hands and I'm working on pottery or building arts and crafts of all kinds, like sun catchers, dream catchers. I'm even sewing sponges, or I might sew little handbags or pen cases. I don't know. The sky's the limit. I'm trying to niche down to kind of make everything work together more fluidly. So there's that. But anyhow, the next section here is called the Story Makers. And the Story Makers is basically where I want to have my educational courses, not just for film, but also for writing in general. And then I also have the Palm Beach County Filmmakers, which is a group I've had in existence since I think it was 2006. And it's extended into just also the filmmakers so that I could reach internationally and not just in my county. So that's another side thing where I reach out and community build with filmmakers, not only locally, but now online. And I'm going to focus on that, bringing that back more. So I also have regular everyday life. So we've got home improvements, health, and I put renewal here because I have some health issues that I want to make better and remove those issues and be a healthy, stronger human being. And then I have homeschooling and being a mom in general. So that is my project nexus. So that's a brief overview of how you could use this page. And then I'll do one more page example on a different project where I'm breaking down a specific project within one of these. So you'll see that. Okay, and for the sake of this channel being mostly about writing and my authorship, um, I'm going to go ahead and cover this page called the Willow Sisters Universe, little self-promo, and I'm just so excited about it. But I also wanted to explain that this creative expansion page that goes over here, you can really use it for anything you want. It could be related to this page in particular because that's how the design layout is, or you can print it out separately for whatever you want it to be. But that's a brainstorming dump area where I can take this particular goal or business or whatever it is that you're filling out in this or goal or project section, that you could take this section and just brainstorm ideas or plans that you have. In my case, I kind of just broke down really in depth, almost like another tree of how everything is listed in my plan for the Project Nexus one, I believe this is for. So I broke down Black Onyx Productions, Talina Creations, and that, is totally unrelated to this specifically, but it is a part of it. But for example, on Project Nexus, I created that page to match Project Nexus, where I basically talked about little things that I could do to improve my overall health, my overall schedule, how can I get to all these goals? And I just started brainstorming ideas of things that I know I could do to make things better. And, that's just an open thing that you can use in any way you want to just brainstorm and brain dump and organize your thoughts. But back to the Willow Sisters universe on this creative universe tree. I basically have the Willow Sisters universe listed because now instead of just writing or thinking about this as a novel or even just a screenplay, I'm thinking of both, obviously. So I wrote down the novel series on the first branch and then the TV and movie or both. Who knows? The sky's the limit. You can have both. It does really well. Writing the series. So that's the novel and the filmmaking side of things, breaking down the universe. And then I have the Lyrithium Studios, which is the music, where I am not only creating soundtracks and compilations to listen to help motivate me and put me in the moment or the actual atmosphere of my story while I'm writing it and bringing it to life, but also for people who are reading it to listen to while they're reading, or potentially taking these ideas that Suno is generating for me and bringing them into a studio or even an orchestra and saying, hey, let's take this AI crafted idea and let's turn it into something, real, human, and not, I'm kind of like on the fence when it comes to AI. I understand both sides of the argument of AI, and I also understand that fear is the main driver of people going down the wrong side of life, and you don't want to live in fear, right? So you have to embrace things sometimes and also have your guard up at the same time. So like, we can use AI and it could be a positive thing, and we can have these amazing songs to write our ideas that just make things come to life so much better than if we didn't have it, or we didn't have the funds to create a soundtrack before we wrote a story. But this is helping me write my story. So I see the benefits of the AI and how it's bringing me joy, and how I'm just amazed that I can put a prompt that's totally personal and almost spiritual in a way. And I'm like, oh, I had this character in mind, bring this story to life. She's this, she's that. I want this kind of instrument in it. And I'll really sometimes even go really in depth because I have production music experience where I know what instruments and how I want it to sound and the right verbiage, like as if I'm directing an orchestra or a band or a musician. And this allows me to do that. So I am creating the Lyrithium Studios music YouTube channel. And that has become so much more now because now I can take those soundtracks and put them on DistroKid, and maybe it'll give me some funding to where that could make some money potentially in the future or presently, where I can start bringing in a revenue that'll go towards writing my book. It'll pay for my book covers. It'll help me pay for things to get these stories generated. So positive ideas with this and bringing that to life. And then my ultimate goal really down the line is to bring these AI things to humans and create masterpieces from them. These could be like the basic starters. I forget the word that I'm trying to think of to use to explain it to you, but it's like the example of what I want. There's a word for it. I'll I'll try to put that on there if I can remember it, but we'll move on because my brain is not remembering. Here I have put pop-ups and stores because ultimately I would love to have a theme park, but that I can get there slowly by starting with pop-ups and boutique stores or gift shops. So that is something I have on my list of things to do because ultimately this could become theme park. But let's be real, I got to be really good. I got to be Disney quality, which is a great goal, and I do look up to Disney and the way he does things. So we'll start with pop-ups and stores, and if all goes well, we can either be into an existing theme type park, or I can create my own if I'm not that far in the success status. But I did also write down this cycle of oneness system, and that goes along with the 4-act system that I've developed and the Save the Cat beats. So I'm writing with the Save the Cat using a 4-act structure, and then I have this special system called HWAC, which I'll go into in another video here on this channel as well, covering exactly what the cycle of oneness is. But it's basically like the hero's journey or the Save the Cat or any type of special plotting system that helps move your story forward. Mine is specifically tied to spiritual growth and ascension, and including a system for writing just about that. And not necessarily for characters, but for the story in general, like how the audience is growing from everything that's happening in the story. So moving on, I would love to see a video game come out of this because I love playing games and being able to build a game, and then also my son being into developing and designing and learning video game systems himself on his growth. I would love to team up with him and like use this as an educational way for him to help me come up with like clever ideas that could make good video game, or even Roblox, for example, just to get my feet wet, learning how to turn my story into these other IPs like a video game. Then I also have some Notion templates, totally side thing, but as well as like keeping track of systems like this and using them inside Notion outside of paper. I also use Scrivener all the time for my plotting right now, but I do have some templates that I'm designing that I may test and use in the future outside of Scrivener. And then I could sell those templates to other authors and writers. So I'm excited to try that. Then, of course, with pop-ups and stores, I'm going to have merchandise. So I can start thinking of all the different characters in the world and the things that are props in my movie that could potentially turn into merchandise. And the sky is the limit. But being that I'm a potter and an artist, I really want to focus my merchandise, at least in the beginning, on the things that I can create with my own hands. So pottery with themes that are relating to my universe, and then cross-promoting my crafts with the story and selling those items on Etsy and or on my own website until we get into boutiques and stores and this setup over here. And then I have breakaway stories that basically will all tie in to this universe, this Willow Sisters universe that I'm creating. I want it to be epic, and I want to be able to continue writing new stories about new characters and new things, but all tie into this universe, just like Star Wars trilogies and how they just went on and on with their whole universe in different ways. And, they did TV series, they did movie series. So I'm thinking like that. I'm thinking like building an empire of IP and different ways to keep all my stories connected so that they're always cross-promoting each other. That is my goal. So that is a great breakdown for the creative expansion pack of the brainstorming and the overall main tree. Call it mapping your core goals and projects. And that's it for this particular section on video number 2. I will continue into the creative expansion pack that is what has become the premium pages of this planner. And we'll do that over in video number 3. And I'm so glad to have you guys here supporting my channel. Give it a like if you don't mind. If you love the video, thumbs up, and subscribe for more videos in the future, not only on goal setting and world building, but writing in general, writing screenplays, writing novels, and I will touch on some filmmaking if you want to learn about that too, because it's important as a writer to know a little bit about filmmaking if you want to see your stories on the big screen. So I will be providing that for you guys, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a great day.